Hello there, Eagles fans. Welcome back to our Eagles Therapy Podcast. I'm Basil.
I'm Baz.
And we are recording Friday, May 9th, 2025. Dad, how you doing today?
Pretty good. We're in the midst of the off season now. Draft's over.
We're really in the jaws of it, we're kind of in the, was that the belly of it? It's like we finally kind of reached the point. We know we're 2 months removed from the Super Bowl, 3 months removed from the Super Bowl now. It's February 9th, wasn't it?
So, yes, it was.
May 9th, so
good day.
3 months removed from the Super Bowl, exactly. Kind of, you're really in the belly of the beast of the offseason, kind of trying to grasp at any fun thing you can. Thankfully, we have some good news to talk about in Philly, and we'll get right into it.
Definitely.
Dallas Goedert agreed to a restructured contract with the Eagles to stay on for this year. Now, as we all knew, he had one extra year on his contract, so he was under contract for the season. But they weren't going to keep him for that much money, most likely, it seemed like. So, thinking they would trade him, draft a tight end, trade for a tight end, nothing happened. Comes and goes, and you're kind of like, okay. And they restructure the contract and make it continuous 1 year deal, $10 million with an ability to get another $1 million in bonuses and stuff. How you feeling on it, Dad?
Well, I mean, it's $3 million less than that the number they kept talking about, 14.25. I mean, I think it was for both sides. It had to be done. I mean, it's fortunate for the Eagles because we want to continue. We want to roll this thing back, right? We want to run it again.
Absolutely.
Why would you take out a player like that for $10 million? Which what's $10 million between friends? Especially in the with the way the cap is and things like that. I mean, they'll make that money back, no problem. But yeah, you don't want to go into the season without a tight end. Now we know exactly where we stand. $3 million less, so he wasn't going to get that on the open market. There's no way he's going to get that. And he's missed an average of 4.25 games a season for the last 4 years. So ever since we went to the 17-game season, he's never played a full season. So I think, it's just the perfect thing. Hopefully no egos are down or any bruised things like that. I'm sure they guarantee, because he went into the season with no guaranteed money. That was the big thing.
That's right.
Now, they guaranteed a portion, if not all of it, and everyone's happy. So I think it's a great move.
Yeah.
It had to be done.
I agree. It's exciting. I think you had some stats you want to go over kind of about Dallas Goedert's career. And we kind of talked about it off camera. Before I jump into that.
That's fine.
Let's talk about real quick. It's just kind of funny. Dallas Goedert has a really weird career. Obviously, the biggest thing you could say about it is injury prone, a lot of injuries and everything. But I don't think you can use a word. I don't think you can use the word underwhelming or disappointing. I don't think that's there.
Right.
This is a guy who was a second-round pick back in 2018, the year after we had won the Super Bowl, and then 2 months later drafted him.
Right.
So since then, obviously, you said we'll get to the stats in a second, but hasn't played a whole season. I don't think ever. Maybe his rookie year, I don't remember. But he's always been good, never been elite, all that sort of stuff. It's kind of tough to talk about, but I don't think you can say it's disappointing because, it's been to 2 Super Bowls and has been really good in both of them. The first one, we lost, but he had 6 for 60.
Yes.
And in this one, only 2 for, I think 27. But, no one had big receiving numbers in this Super Bowl.
No.
But, he's got a Super Bowl win, 2 appearances. I don't think it's possible to say it's underwhelming, especially as he's been your starting tight end, on the best running offense in NFL history this year.
That's one of his traits is he's a big blocker. He likes to block. He's been doing it for years. And, of course, last season with the record breaker. And, 2 years ago, we had great running game. We've had running game really every season he's played.
I was going to say, ever since 2021, ever since we got Jalen, in 21, we had the most rush attempts. In 22, we had one of the best rushing offenses. Last year, I don't know, with the collapse, I don't really know how the numbers look. And then this year, of course, the greatest rushing offense of all time, I like to say.
Including the playoffs, yes.
Including the playoffs, yes. And so it is hard to be like, you can't – he's just never been the elite receiving number tight end. But as a run blocker, you're right. He's incredibly important to this team, and since he's gotten, since 2021 when we got Hurts, he's been the starting tight end on the best running offense, it feels like, of the last 4 years.
Plus, you just want to run it back. You just got done winning a Super Bowl. He was phenomenal in the playoffs. Again, 215 yards receiving in the 4 playoff games, which is, I think, 50-plus yards, 53 yards a game, I think.
Yeah,
one touchdown, big touchdown in the Packers wild card, I think it was.
Yes, correct, the wild card.
So,
stiff arm,
huge touchdown in that game, even though we were kind of kicking their butts. We didn't have the points, so
he changed the game.
Definitely changed the game. In the Super Bowl, he had that one big catch fairly early, which is kind of what he does. Yeah. He had that 20-yarder or so. He ended with 2 of 27, but he had that,
opened up the offense completely.
For sure. I mean, that's how it works. I mean, that's where he fits in. He sneaks out there. Maybe he doesn't have, a big yardage, but he's always contributed. And, you can't – I mean, if you look at his numbers and say, okay, 7 seasons, 24 touchdowns total, another 4 in the playoffs or whatever, 6 maybe in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not fantastic. Some of these tight ends are getting 10 a season.
He's also the pusher of the tush push.
That's true.
Like, he is the pusher. So how many touchdowns are because of him? You know what I mean? It had something to do with him.
He's going to throw 30, 40 of the touchdowns there.
That's right. That's right.
Plus, like you say, he's a great blocker. He knows the offense. I mean, to me, it would be silly not to sign him for that kind of money.
Yeah. That's the other thing that feels like this team will. I mean, as long as we have Jalen Hurts, as long as the tush push exists, I guess we should really call it the brotherly shove on this pod. I don't know if they like it, but me too. But no, I feel like as long as we have, as long as we have Hurts and as long as they're able to run that play, it's just a tight end on this team is really never going to have a lot of touchdowns because when does the tight end get most of his touchdowns? In the red zone, sure. In the goal line, 3-4 yards, from the 5-yard line in, 8-yard line in, something like that.
That's true.
Well, he's not. There's not getting that many chances because when you're on the 1-yard line, a lot of times they throw it to tight ends. Well, we don't have to do that.
Yeah, plus you've got so many guys,
Saquon,
2 wide receivers, and you got
AJ, Devontae,
running back. Yes. It's just too many. Not enough to go around.
Especially even before the Saquon, we had Gainwell who got a lot of carries in the goal line area.
That's true.
He got a lot of carries in that goal line area. And before that, we had Boston Scott.
That's right.
He got a lot of carries in the goal line area. So it is
5 yards in. That's what
correct.
we do.
So it
never
is
really had the throw out into the corner with the big wide receiver type, throw it up in the air type. So it just doesn't work that way for our offense. Plus, it's more conservative. You'd rather run it in than throw it because things can happen when the ball's tipped around the goal line.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So we're happy to have him back, and hopefully maybe he can have his first ever completely healthy season.
Yes.
We won't get our hopes up too much, but still happy to have him back, and he's always going to be a beloved player in Philadelphia.
So just for the record, his rookie season he played 16 games. Sure. He started 8. Second season 15 games. So he maybe I don't know if he didn't play or was injured that season. The next year he was available for 11. And then they went to the 17-game season in 2021. He was available for 15. Then it started where he missed, a lot of games.
2022, you have to assume, he played 12 games. You have to assume he sat out the last one because of, he rested the starters. I think in 2021 we rested our starters the last game of the season, so he might have been very possible here.
And that's when they went to the 17-game season in 2021.
Oh, so he would have.
So then if you look here, 22, 12 games started, 12 games played, 14 started the next season, 14.
Yeah,
and then 10 and 10. So last year was really the big year that he lost. Yeah. But he's never missed a playoff game. And, that's even more important to me. He's 12 playoff games in his career.
He doesn't let his receptions. I mean, the yardage definitely suffers a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, in 21, he had 830. Yeah. In 24, only 490. Didn't even hit a 500. Yeah. But the receptions still remain around the same. 56 down to 42. That's only 14 different catch. I mean, that's only 14 catches of difference between 5 games of difference. Yeah. I mean,
you can see his yards per catch. 12 and a half, then 10, and 11 and a half, or 11.8. So
averaged 11.7, and he had 11.8 this year. So
big year, 14.8. That was in 2021 when he had 830 yards receiving. So probably his biggest year, But as far as touchdowns go, he's never had that 7 to 10 that we kind of were always calling for on those. Oh, he's going to get 8 touchdowns.
It felt like it, but it just never happened. It just didn't happen.
But they win. So that's all that matters.
That's right. But happy to have him back. We'll see what goes on.
Definitely.
Dan, I'm throwing a curveball at you. We didn't say we were going to talk about this before, but I kind of realized it, and I thought, hey, we should talk about this. Those of you who have listened to us before, me and my dad, at least me, big fan of numbers.
Right.
Love numbers. I got my Brandon Graham. I got my Brandon Graham 55 shirt on. It's not a jersey, but I got the 55 on the backside here. Let's talk about jersey numbers. So the Eagles draft picks for correct.
Okay, that's cool.
For the rookies, just the draft picks. I don't think I have all the rookies.
So you want a thumbs up or thumb down on a number?
Yeah, sure. That's good. Give me a
Sounds good.
So let's go start from the top. Jahad Campbell, a linebacker or edge, plays that position, positionless player. Number 30.
Weird number.
Dumb number.
Weird number.
Yeah, and again, this is similar to like last year. Quinyon Mitchell was number 30, and we were kind of like, okay. Then he got 27 after Zach McPherson was cut. So none of these are set in stone. Some of them probably are. We don't know, but I can imagine Jahad Campbell wears a different. I would expect a different number come season time.
I mean, hopefully he gets a number in the 50s or in the 90s, but I know he's going to be linebacker eventually. I'm hoping that's his thing for the next 10 years. So hopefully in the 50s, but we'll see. But 30's kind of odd.
I have a prediction for him.
Okay.
And this is only in the situation that Bryce Huff is not on the team. I think I could see him being number 0.
Okay.
Because he's that player who could play defensive end or he goes to linebacker. I think 0 is a perfect number because it's kind of like, 0 doesn't have a spot.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no like, 0 is this or 0 is that. Like, in your life, you've always talked about numbers like, 50s or linebacker, 50s and 90s have become, that's linebacker, And obviously now defense can wear anything they want to, which sucks.
It is kind of weird.
It's disgusting.
It's funny because I'm not as
it's terrible.
obsessive on the numbers as you, but I do like a good number, Lo. I mean, some of the players we got, like DeJean with 33, it's
great.
Brilliant number. Yes.
27, 33.
I agree.
I'm a big fan of 34. It hasn't really been big for us in a while.
Right.
I love the number 34. I can't stand watching. I couldn't stand Darius Slade, number 2. I just hated it.
I know you did.
It made me sick.
Number 2 is a funny number, too. We're like, who gets a number 2 quarterback's kind of weird, too.
That's a quarterback.
And it's still
a punter.
True. That's right. It's a kicker. It's a punter. You're right.
Yes. It's like number 4.
I agree.
Jake Elliott.
I agree.
Okay, sorry.
It's fun.
Let's move on. So, let's go to Andrew Makuba, the safety out of Texas. Second round pick, number 24.
Good number.
I like it too.
Great number.
I usually like number 24 as a corner, but I'm okay with that as a safety. I think it's a good number. It's not unreal. I think what was C.J. Gardner-Johnson? He was 8 this year, but before I think he was 23, and I thought that was okay for a safety too.
No, that's a good number.
And I like Reed at 32. I like that one as well.
I'm with you on that.
And I forgot. I do have to pull this up as well because I believe we also had some number changes for Keely Ringo and Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson is now number 2, and Keely Ringo. Did he go to? What was he? I forgot. He updated it to number 7.
That's
number 7 as a corner. That's disgusting. There's actually some other updates on here we can look at.
That is kind of strange. I have to give you that.
Sick. Okay.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't like that. Jahad Dotson, a wide receiver at number 2. That's okay. It doesn't bother me, but a cornerback at number 7.
2 catches a game, I'll be happy. Let's put it that way.
That's right. I have some other. We'll talk about these ones in a little bit too. These are New Jersey numbers as well, but we'll get that. So you like 24. That's good.
Definitely.
Okay. Next one.
Ty Robinson.
Ty Robinson. Okay. 95.
Beautiful.
Great number.
Wonderful.
Defensive tackle. Love it. Yes. Love it. I didn't like 93 on Milton Williams. I kind of wanted him to be 95, but I didn't expect him to change his number.
Right.
So that defensive tackle, I like that 95. I like 97 too. Moro Jomo, I like the 97.
Yeah.
I like that a lot too.
Well, to me, all the 90s work. 91 works. 90 works. I mean, I look back at some of the older players too, but 97, like you said.
I think 93 is the only one I don't like. I'm kind of
like,
I'm not a big fan of the number 3 in anything. I know I already said I like the number 34 just because it works.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't love
53, of course, is great. So.
That's your number, yeah. Was that your number, right?
I had 3 numbers. I had 36, and then I was 54, and then at 53.
So you're Westbrook.
So, that's
you were Westbrook, Jeremiah Trotter, and Zach Butler.
Yeah, well, they weren't around back when I was playing.
No, they were not. Not even their dads were.
No, their dads were little kids too, probably.
So Ty Robinson, 95, like it.
Yeah,
I think that was, who was that? That was Marlon Tuipulotu's number last, I think. Who was 24 last? I think Slay was 24. Who was 24 last year? Did we have one? Who?
I'm terrible at that.
Rogers was 34. That was good.
That was a good one too. Yes.
Okay. And then 30, I think of Corey Clement. But okay, Mac McWilliams, the cornerback, number 22.
That'll work.
It's a good number.
That'll work.
What do you think? Who do you think of when you think 22? I immediately went to Asante Samuel.
Yeah, he's the same.
I should have gone to Deuce, but
yeah, no, I go back to Asante.
Okay.
Yes.
Linebacker from Georgia, Smile Mondon Jr., number 42.
Okay, I can dig that.
I think it's a good number. I think it's again. I don't love the number 40s for a linebacker. I like it at 50s.
Me neither.
I was okay with when they did 90s. Michael Kendricks was 95 when he was a linebacker.
Yeah, it's weird because the 40s in my world were always like fullbacks.
Correct.
Maybe running back,
tight end if he's a fullback and tight end. Yes, I know.
42 works though for him. I think it'll work,
and it works because that was Oren Burks last year, and Smile London has that chance to kind of play that same spot. So I think that works.
I'm hoping he makes the team. I like what I've seen at his plays.
I agree. I mean, he's got the fact that he's from Georgia helps him a lot.
Doesn't hurt.
Let's go with the center, Drew Kendall, out of Boston College, number 66.
Excellent.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't think there's anything extra to say on it. I think that's perfect.
That's Bill Berge right there.
But
that's okay.
Is that number not?
That's the old linebacker running backs. I mean, that's the old linebacker numbers were the 60s.
So why is that not retired?
The Eagles don't really have that many retired numbers, and I think there's run out of numbers. I
think they have more retired numbers than a lot of teams actually. But the problem is now we got a lot coming up.
That's true. I don't. I feel. It's nice to retire numbers, but at the same time, if I remember the player, when you say the number, that's pretty good because I'm not even good with numbers. So
that's fair.
I'm not a big numbers guy, but Berge, I definitely remember that number.
I think 66 is a good number for a center as well.
I agree.
Here's a great.
Of course, you're starting to run out of numbers because you have a lot of players right now. You're 90.
Well, it's impossible to give out 62. It's impossible to give out 91. Yes. It will be impossible to give out 65. It'll probably be impossible to give out 50. It's impossible to give out 55.
Right.
I mean, you have to ask yourself, when do they give out 9? You know what I mean?
Right. It's good.
How long do you give until 9? I mean, they haven't given out 12 since Randall, and it's like, come on.
7 is Jaworski, so
7. Then 7 was Vic.
Right.
That was 7 was Bradford. Oh, God.
But
that number's cursed.
The Polish rifle there, he got us to a Super Bowl and had some good years with him.
You have to ask yourself, when does a number come? Because I don't think they'll ever retire number 9. Like Nick Foles, I just, as much as it's the greatest thing ever, I know. It's hard to talk about it, but just, it's the greatest moment of our lives as Eagles fans, winning the Super Bowl. Number 9 is the MVP.
Right.
But you really can't retire it, I don't think. But when do you now that you've won a second one, you're kind of like, okay, well now.
To me, that's where it gets even more difficult because if you and I talk about it, obviously prior to us winning the Super Bowls, we always talked about that, and we'd say they didn't win a Super Bowl with that player, so is he really that?
Yeah.
You hate to dismiss a player's number because he didn't win a Super Bowl, but that's the way it was. Now we've got 2. I look at it a little bit differently now. I'm like, Foles, was a great playoff run, but
it's hard.
Did he have 10 great games with us? Maybe 15?
Maybe, yeah.
You start looking at guys that have the 10-year career, so.
Because you can't retire everyone. You can't retire every number. There are some numbers that I'm like, all right, let's take that back out of retirement. There's a big debate going on in the sports world. We can talk about that in a second.
I agree with you. There was other things that came out in this past draft.
Yes.
Players wanting really great players' numbers, and you kind of go,
I'm okay.
That number's untouchable. But you're right. It wasn't our team, so we didn't really feel the same way. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let's get it. So let's go. Kyle McCord, number 19,
quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
okay. Yeah, I mean that's definitely the number that they throw at the new rookie kid. Here's the number. Yeah. You got to wear this one. Yeah. That was Tanner McKee's number before he changed his number. Right. So. I honestly think he'll have a different number by the time we get to the point.
I kind of like the single quarterback number, but
me too.
I know you can't always have that. So
it's funny because it's like to me any number over 12, it should be like 1 to 12 quarterback number. You know what I mean?
I tend to agree.
Give the punter 19. Yeah. No one wants 19, except Josh Sweat wanted 19, which was the worst.
I know.
Defensive end 19 is disgusting.
Like the 90s.
It was 94 was great on him.
I agree.
But he won with 19 as a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl.
He's got the big contract. So
Miles Hinton, big dude, number 78.
Perfect.
Left tackle 78. It doesn't get better than that.
I agree.
Only thing, the best number is 77. That's just how it is. Because it was my number. But if a left tackle 78, I'm good with it. That's a great number. You want a 78. Kind of like Mailata, I wanted him to have 78, big, 6'8", 78.
I'm kind of partial to 72 for a lot of minutes. That's always a good one there too.
It's funny because I don't like 71, but Peters was,
Right.
looks good on him.
Yeah, look good on you though.
But 72 was Trey Thomas.
Yeah,
72 was Big V.
Yeah.
Cameron Williams, the tackle out of Texas. 73.
Good one.
I'm good with the 2.
Good one.
I like it. I think the higher 70s should be for the left tackle.
Yeah, see, that's funny how
I know.
Offensive line, to me, like linebackers should be certain and the defensive ends should be certain. But like you say, the linemen, they definitely have it should be almost.
I know. It's funny.
Relative or
I know.
Consecutive or
it's kind of like Tyler Steen. If as we expect kind of him to be the front runner for right guard position, he's number 56, and I'm like, I don't like that. Right guard, I want a nice 64. That's what I want there.
Yeah,
give me a 64. Give me a 67. That's good too. I've never loved that Lane Johnson was 65 on the right tackle.
Right.
I kind of wanted him to be 73s. He doesn't look as good. 75 would be good. I mean, when you look at Lane Johnson, he has to be 65. You can't change it.
He's had that his entire. He never did change, right?
Correct.
He's always had the number. So
correct.
That's also another thing when you start to become a 12, 14-year player for a team.
Yes.
That's awesome.
But I don't love the 65 as the right tackle. He's the exception because he's great. Evan Mathis, number 69, was great as a left tackle. That Landon Dickerson loved the 69, the left tackle or left guard.
I agree.
Yeah, I prefer the left tackle. Like I wish Mailata was like 70. 77 would be great. That'd be awesome.
Well, that's what Becton had last year. So
it was good.
Right guard was good. It looked good. When you're a big guy like that, it just fits. It's symmetrical somehow. But
yeah, it just works.
I agree with you on that one.
And then last one, Antoine Powell Ryland, 93. So he got
defensive end.
Yeah, defensive end. He got the Milton Williams.
Okay. So that's a good one.
Yeah. I'm starting to like the defensive ends. I like defensive ends a little bit more on the. I love the BG 55, defensive end 53. Stuff like that.
It is kind of the newer NFL, if you will. Last 10 or 15 years where that happened. In the old days, as it was 90s.
Yes,
that's it. You had your 90s, and that was all you got. 80s were kind of off limits. That was wide receivers and tight ends, and it's funny how it's changed.
I love.
And again, I know you're a little more into it than I am, but I do have my preferences.
I know. I'm like, seriously, if you play, to me, it's like, if you play the right guard position, you got to be 64. I think that's like the perfect right guard number. I love it. I love that number. Left guard, I was left guard, so 77.
Right.
But I want like 69 to 77 is left guard. And then left tackle, you're 78.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. You're 78.
It's funny because
that's a great number.
As we were talking earlier about, I guess the new player on the Giants wanted the LT number.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So Abdul Carter out of Penn State. Don't say the new players. Come on, it's Abdul Carter.
All right, Penn State.
He's not a best player.
He's no longer my friend. But
that's true.
So anyway, they were talking on one of the pods I listened to. I think it was maybe Colin Coward or maybe the other guys I always watch, Sims. But they were saying that they wanted the number, and it was he kind of told a story about a player that wanted his dad's number, Phil Sims' number, which was number 11, I believe. And they were talking about that, and then Chris Sims was like, I don't really care. And then his sister called him and said, she's in tears. Why are you giving your dad's number away, kind of thing. It was a good story.
Wow.
But anyway, getting back to it, he said eventually they got to the point where the number doesn't make the player makes the number. So like you say, now you've got 65.
Yes, it's true.
It's forever ingrained in our team.
Yes.
That he's the guy. 62, of course. The revered center, of course. And, some of the other guys we have up here, too. So,
That's true. Yeah. Well, not so much this one. I don't
know. True. You know what I mean?
I don't think he's number 83 forever, but I know what you mean.
But, yeah,
like Quick, I agree. Like 82, I think.
82. He's covered up by the Super Bowl poster right now. But, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's just, the 88, for instance, on the team we don't like. They continually use that. They use that number, even though the first guy worn it is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
but, they still, and I mean, it's kind of a good idea in a way.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You use the number.
I think it's cool. I think it's a cool idea. You don't like to give Dallas credit.
Right.
You see that 80. You see the 88 on Dallas. Yeah. You see a person wearing an 88 Dallas jersey, and you immediately want to burn it. But no, it's a cool concept. Like, why? You can't. It's hard to see like how did Dallas do that? Because how do they predict that? You know what I mean? Because Irvin had 88, and then they give it to
Dez.
the next piece of sorry, Dez guy, right? Dez. But then there was a guy who wore it after Dez in between him and CD, and he was no one.
Right.
Kind of like, so
get that number back.
How do you do that?
Yeah,
because that would be cool. It'd be like, okay, like the number 55, like Jihad Campbell gets 55. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you don't know. Is he going to be gray? Like, it's kind of hard to do that, but. I'm not a fan. It's funny. I'm as much as I love the numbers. I'm actually anti-number retirement.
Right.
I'm fully on the side of we'll put your number in the rafters, and it'll always say. Let's just go with the Giants. It'll always say T. Lawrence Taylor, LT. Right. It'll always have that.
Agreed.
One of the greats. But we can't just not like. One day we're going to run out of numbers. Like someone has to. If your number's been the big thing for me is also, I think we talked about it. All right, for 10 years, your number can't be used. Yes. But we got to, at some point, we can't. Yeah. It's like Randall. Yeah. I'm sorry to Ben, if Ben's watching.
Right.
Big Randall fan.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, and if no one wants 12, that's fine. But it's one thing to go, you can't have it. And it's like, well, we didn't win any Super Bowls or playoff games with it. Right. So why do we have to not ever give this number away?
And I also feel like you like a cooling off period.
Correct.
Obviously, no one gets 62 for a long time.
Done for 15 years, whatever.
Same with NT, in my opinion. Yes. Let's settle off it.
Unless they wanted to give it to someone, then that's different. But
right, and there's a lot of those players' numbers that through the years, even some of the guys from the 50s that we can never remember whose number is retired. But to me, there's definitely a point to say, hey, look. It's sad for a while, and we can re-administer that number. But for now, I agree with you. I would not like to see the center of the future get 62. I think that should be cooled off for
I agree.
A while.
Yeah. I just wonder if, in 10 years, when we draft let's say next year, when we draft a right tackle replacement, maybe they kind of go, Lane, he wears, Lane about to retire, and he's like, hey, when I leave, I'll let you take 65. I don't know. I don't know. I do think there needs to be a cooling period. But again, I also like the idea that Dallas has where, here's 88, here's 88, I think it'd be cool.
It is cool. And again, like a lot of teams that have that quarterback number, that esteemed quarterback, multiple MVPs and stuff like that. I can see that.
It's also difficult in the exact situation we're talking about with the Giants thing, because I hate the Giants. I hate Lawrence Taylor. I hate Phil Simms. So to me, I love Abdul Carter. Right. It sucks that he's on the Giants, but Abdul Carter has been one of my favorite players in college for the last 3 years.
He's that guy the number.
So it's kind of a bummer. I'm like, you guys suck. Let him have it. He's better than any of you. No, it's just funny because everyone keeps saying that in the views, like, oh, well, you can't take LT's number. I'm like, why not? He sucks. I hate him.
Well, you didn't
I didn't watch him.
You weren't there.
No, of course not.
That's
I'm happy I wasn't.
And again, it's not your team and it's not your guy. Like you said, we have, I don't know, like maybe some one of these days we can do a show on the numbers that we think should not be touched for a while.
I agree.
It's pretty obvious in my opinion, but, 17's not one of them. Like that number should be anybody, even though we've had some success with that number.
We're getting to the point where, number 11 is starting to get hard. Like, if you get another one or two, or you go to two more Super Bowls, win one more, and you got 11 and number 6,
right?
You can't give those away right away.
Yeah.
But what if in 5 years you draft, let's hope not 5 years. In 10 years when you draft Hurts' replacement,
right.
And he's the greatest next great quarterback of all time.
Right.
I want to wear number 6. And it's like, well, but Smitty won 3 Super Bowls with us.
Right.
It's kind of hard. So I don't know. It is a very difficult thing to do. But I love the numbers thing. Let's talk about some more numbers.
Okay.
So these are just updated players already on the team. Just some updated jersey numbers. So I already mentioned Jahan Dotson, number 2. I don't mind it. Slot receiver, I like that, number 2.
Was
he was 82, which for a slot receiver, you don't like 82 very much.
I agree.
I think it's kind of gray. I'm not a fan. Yeah. I love like Johnny Wilson, 89. Yeah. That's good. Big receiver.
Calvin Williams.
That's true.
That's I think of that a lot of it.
I don't like this one. Adoree Jackson, number 8. Don't like it. Cornerback. Don't like it.
Yeah.
Healy Ringo, number 7. Don't like it.
Yeah, that's like the new NFL.
I agree. I like Ringo as 22.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
Yeah. And then when Adoree Jackson was on the Giants, was he at 24?
I thought he was at 29.
Okay.
Might have been 20. I really actually don't know, surprisingly. Let me see it real quick. So when he was on the when he was on the Titans, he was 25.
Okay.
And then when he was on the Giants, he was 22 and 21. It looks like there's a few different pictures. There's a few different pictures of him.
Yeah, he stayed in the 20s.
In college, he was 2. It looks like mostly in New York, he was 22.
22.
Which is, it's a good number, but I like Ringo at 22. But Edge, this is bad. God, if he makes the team as this number, that's disgusting. Josh Uche, 13, defensive end, 13. That's sick. That's disgusting. This one's good. I don't mind this one. Return specialist. It's kind of hard. Avery Williams. We don't really know if he's a running back or a wide receiver. Like, we don't really know what he's going to kind of play. Right. It was really just going to be a return specialist. 18. I like that. That was Britton Covey. Was 18.
He's gone now, he's signed with the Rams. So
that sucks.
It's a bummer. He was good for you, good for us. I know you were one of his biggest fans there, and sending flowers and things. But no, he definitely had a few good years, and I think when he got the injury, it just it's time to continue to move up. That's unfortunate. He did well for us and got a ring. Definitely played in a couple. Well, played in one. That's
true.
But good player. Utah? He played for Utah, college-wise. So, good for him.
A.J. Dillon, 29. It's okay. 28 was his number in Green Bay, but that's Will Shipley.
Right.
So, can't get that one.
Right.
I wouldn't mind we already said Makuba has 24. That's kind of hard for a running back.
Yeah.
I really only like 25. 28, 26 is good, but that's Saquon.
Right.
I don't like 29 very much.
Yeah.
Could you be 30? 30's good. Jahad Campbell's 30.
Right, no, I get you.
If he changes his number, I could see Dillon being 30 instead of 29.
I got 36 maybe.
Was
he with the Pack too?
Yeah,
28?
28. Okay. Ben Van Sumeren, obviously we know of him being switched over from the linebacker position to the
he changed numbers too.
Position, yes.
Because he didn't want to have to report on every plays on the field. Yeah.
So he's number 43. He was 57, which I actually like for a linebacker. 43, that's a fullback number. Because you're kind of like, well, no one else likes this, so you get it. I like this one a lot. Edge, Azeez Ojulari, 52. Love it.
Okay.
I like 52 on the edge. I like it a lot.
All right. I like you.
I like this one too. Guard, Kenyon Green, 76.
Okay,
I'll take it. I like it. And then some tight end numbers. Kylan Granson, 83, and Harrison Bryant, 85.
Okay.
I don't think any of those guys are going to make the team, so I'm kind of I don't really.
Still
got good number.
Anywhere in 83 for Paul's number.
It is. Yeah, that's true.
It's a good looking number. If you ever saw some of the old clips of Papali, he was huge shoulders and a pretty thin guy, so he looked like a big V when he was out there on the field. But that number really shined. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little bit about, unless we could spend the whole episode on numbers, but I don't want to bore people too much. Let's talk a little bit about training camp. Obviously, we're not there, but let's talk a little bit about kind of what's going on there. So Jahad Campbell still on the sideline, doesn't have any helmet. Just because he's recovered from that shoulder injury.
Torn labrum.
Shoulder injury, so he'll be out for a bit, but he's on the sidelines there, in the stretchings and everything like that, but just kind of doing the mental reps for now. We got our first look at what the offensive line is looking at for the rookies right now. So they're liking Miles Hinton out at left tackle, number 78.
Right.
Love it. Cameron Williams, a right tackle. Lakin Vakalahi in left guard. Holland Pierce, the rookie out of Rutgers, right guard. And then Drew Kendall, the Boston College, number 66 at center. Okay. It's a good look.
Well, we need a backup center, as you know.
I 100% agree.
And hopefully one of those big, new, young tackles is going to be the swing guy.
100% agree.
Hopefully, and then, of course, some of the
Kendall Lamb, so it's kind of, it's tough to know what's going to happen with him. So I think it's good. Some good stuff on Kyle McCord coming out, just kind of, looking like they're really expecting him to kind of be the third guy. So I do think we'll be.
Yeah, they looks like they've given it to him over DTR already, but
I agree.
That's just because that's the way it is right now.
Yeah, agree. And then, pardon me, talks about Makuba, undersized for a safety, but he's plays bigger than ever before.
Everything I've heard so far, it sounds like they're going to throw him right in there, plug and play. He's going to start. Yeah. So we got two starters. Hopefully, like I say, Campbell is 100%. He's got the shoulder. He's still working on it. He's got 4 months to get ready, so hopefully that's all good to go. But it looks like the first 3 or 4 picks we've made will get some playing time. Ty Robinson's kind of been anointed a position as well. So
let's play that game real quick. Actually, it's funny. I did some post-draft episodes after round 1, round 2, and then you and I did the full one for round 3 as it starts to rain outside. Nice. My windows are open at home, so that's a worrisome. But no, let's do this game. So we walked away with 9 picks, correct?
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 picks.
Okay.
I had said I didn't think we were leaving with more than 6 players. Walked away with 10 players. So let me say how many of the 10 make the team? Give me just a number.
The 53?
Yes.
Okay. The 53, probably, I'm going to say 4 of them.
Okay. Now let's go through it.
And then practice squad, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Let's go through it, and you give me the yes or the no. Well, let's just go. Okay.
Yeah.
Jahad Campbell?
Yes.
Andrew Bakuba?
Yes.
Ty Robinson?
Yes.
Matt McWilliams?
Not sure. Not sure.
You did a lot of yeses at the beginning.
Yes.
Smile Munden?
Probably not. Probably practice squad.
So I wonder, you also have to think to yourself, like, this was always the funny game you have to play as a GM and a team manager. Okay, this guy's better, but he's like this guy. We need this guy more than this guy, but this guy won't get taken off the squad. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's with Smile Mondon. You're kind of like, well, he'll get taken off the practice squad.
Most likely, yeah.
Linebacker from Georgia, people see what we're doing here. They're going to go, oh. Yeah. Whereas Mac McWilliams, I don't think he'll get taken off the practice squad.
Yeah.
And you played that game like last year with, what was his name? I'm sorry. Dylan.
McKee?
No. What was his name? Dylan. Ah, dang.
What was it, Mick?
Yeah, I think it was 2. Drafted him last year in like the 6th round. Yeah. The center. Let me pull it up real quick.
We lost him.
Dylan McCoy? Was that what it is? Something like that? Let me see it right here. 1 second. Sorry. Yeah, we did. Dylan McMahon.
Yeah.
We did lose him. He ended up going to I think he went to the Rams. He's on the Rams. Yeah. So that's one of those things where you're like, dang it, kind of wanted to keep him. And I think we really need to keep a center this year. So I think Drew Kendall is going to make the team because we need a backup center. We don't want to go through that same experience we talked about in the last pod.
But it is flexible as far as bringing guys up and bringing guys down, and 3 or 4 visits before they start pulling you out.
Yeah, 4 now? Is it 4?
Yeah, I think so. And you got the emergency quarterback, so that leaves you a spot. So that's kind of a thing now. But I do think I'm not sure who my 4th guy is, but the first 3 draft picks to me are definitely going to make the team.
Kyle McCord, Miles Hinton, Cameron Williams, Antoine Powell-Ryland.
I would say probably Hinton makes the roster.
Agreed.
And if he becomes the swing, it's really a matter who becomes the swing. Now, Cameron Williams, right? He's the one that they talked about. If he went back, he'd be a 1st or 2nd round pick, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he might be the guy you have to protect a little bit.
True. It's tough.
With him because,
really tough.
We don't want to lose a guy that potentially could be a top player in a couple of years. But we're in that period of time right now where we maybe you get rid of the other guys like Toth or some of the other guys we have that are on the roster right now.
Yeah, I think
I'd rather have a 22-year-old dude instead of a 29-year-old journeyman type player too. So we'll see.
Trevor Keegan's number 77 now. That's good. That's a big guard right there. I like that guy from Michigan.
Yeah.
That's a big man.
Yeah, he's a 2nd-year guy, right?
Yeah, 6'5", 306.
What's his side? Is he right side?
He's technically a left guard only. Only played left guard at Michigan. Yes. But come on, in the NFL, you do anything.
I mean, that's really where we're at this year, guys. We just have one player on the offense that's not signed for the next 20 years, and is not under contract, and we don't have to worry about them. And we just got to really fill in the
guard spot.
A few of the players, right? And maybe. Center, I'm a little bit worried because of some of the surgeries.
What the backup,
some of the ones I've had. But, somebody that's ready to step in. It's going to be difficult. But hopefully by the time the season starts, we have our name. And we'll continue to update our roster as we go as well.
Of course. Yeah, well, maybe I think next week I might do my first roster prediction.
Okay.
We'll see. I like to get it done before they do, start cutting, of course. So I want to get that out soon.
You still got till July, I think, for that.
I think so, yeah.
Got 90 right now, so.
Let's talk about some other sports. real quick. Phillies 22-15. We haven't touched on these guys in a while. Phillies 22-15 started the season off really well, then kind of dropped down in the standings. I think they were second in the standings after their series against the Dodgers that they won. Dropped down, had a couple really tough losing streak, had a pretty bad 10-game, 4-6, 3-7, all that stuff going on. 22-15 swept the Rays with a really great comeback last night, and today they're starting a series against the Guardians, I believe in Cleveland for the next few days. Coming to Colorado next week, coming to Denver. I'm going to be going up to all 4 of the games. I'll be staying with my friend up there. I'm going to go to all 4 games. It stinks because they're weekday games all the way through, Monday through Thursday. So convincing them to go to 1 or 2 of them with me, and then I don't know if you'll come down for 1 or 2 of them.
I think Wednesday is open for me right now. Okay. So it's very possible. Monday and Wednesday, I think, right now. Tuesday and Thursday, I'm booked.
Okay, gotcha.
So we'll see. But what time? Are they all 1 o'clock games? Or?
No, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are all 6:30s, and the Thursdays are 1:30.
Okay, so it's just the capper is the early game.
So yeah, there's a chance. I haven't bought tickets yet. I'm waiting for they get so cheap.
That's good at game day.
Exactly, and it's great that the Rockies suck because it just makes it so cheap. I think the Thursday game, I'm like, maybe not. Maybe I'll come home, just get an early jump and come right home.
Yeah, the traffic's going to be brutal.
Especially if they won 3 of them. Then, I'm not too sure.
The traffic coming out after that game.
That's the thing.
Not be good. Now, is it 11:35 game or is it the 1:05 game? Sometimes they do that early game.
Yeah, it's 1:30.
Okay.
Unless they, everything changes.
You'll be fighting some traffic. Denver's kind of like Phoenix when it gets.
Yeah, I know it.
Rush hour now is 1 o'clock till 7 o'clock. So
6:40, 6:40, and then 1:10 for the Phillies for the last game.
That might be over at 3:05 if you're lucky.
It's true. I might not stay for the whole. I think I'll go to the 4th game and just not stay the whole time.
It's 12-0
exactly, and then go jump in the traffic and get home. Yeah.
That stadium. I mean, even if you left, you're kind of halfway through the city once you leave the stadium, so it's not too bad. Yeah. It's still bad.
Yeah. The Union 7-3-1, keeping up in the standings right now in the MLS. Right now, they're second in the Eastern Conference. They trail the Columbus Crew, who they will be playing this Saturday. So we'll see a little bit of a fight for the Eastern Conference number 1 seed. Really tough season for the Union last year. Great season before that. And then this year, they're starting to get a good jump on the season as well.
That's good.
You kind of get a little worried about Inter Miami, but I want to look at when Inter Miami and the Union play this year. Maybe we'll.
That's funny.
The best thing would be, we like to go back for the Eagles game. Oh, they play them on May 24th. Dang.
Yeah, they're playing pretty well. I watched them the other night.
May 24th in Philly.
They were playing a couple games.
Yeah. And then nothing on the other sports, Sixers, Flyers, Penn State, all that sort of stuff. Sixers have a chance to get the number 1 pick. I think they're the worst. They're the 5th worst team in the league last year in the NBA. So got the best chance to get the 5th pick. Hopefully they do get that because I can't remember if they don't get a lottery pick, it's not their pick. It goes to the Thunder. The way they're traded and everything like that. But if they do get a top 5 pick, they get to keep it. So good chance, and a 12% chance, I think, 10% chance to get the number 1 pick would be nice. To get that big guy coming out of Duke would be really good.
Nice.
But other than that, you got anything else, Ben?
No, I do not.
All right, let's say our goodbyes. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. If you like our Eagles Therapy podcast, do us a favor. Rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe there. Comment down below any comments you have for us or questions. We'd love to read your questions on the page or on the video here on the pod. You can email us your questions at oureaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Our Eagles Therapy Podcast, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.